Am I ready yet?
What is up?
No.
Did you heard about the teacher that banged the 13-year-old?
Yeah, I
Which
heard all
one?
about that. So she banged because she was having those parties with all those like 13 and 14-year-old boys over and everything. She'd been carrying on a relationship with this 13-year-old boy for months. She is fucking hot.
They always are.
Right?
And
She's
not
been
always. You just
in this
only
third-
see those.
This one is hot. She's a hot brunette with big boobs, and she's in good shape. She's 24 years old. She's been banging this 13-year-old for like a year. The 13-year-old is a total baller. He kept that shit shut. He was taking her home, introduced her to the parents, made sure that was going to go over smooth. Look at this chick.
Well,
Ridiculous. bro.
aside from the fact she's clearly hiding that she's fat.
Well,
Oh my, she's not actually fat. She's a little bit thick, I will say, because there's a full body pictures of her too.
She's not
Yeah.
here. You don't have to say that.
I think she's hot, man. She's doing that duck face thing, but you know, I'm not going to say she's a cool girl. She's just a hot girl. I mean, she's fucking 13-year-old. She's got some problems.
Beautiful face, bro. Amazing.
It's so
No,
silly.
she's like a little thick, but she's not fat. Mm-mm.
I do think
Woody
that's
would say
like
she's fat.
Pre-fat.
13-year-olds.
Pre-fat.
Like, are horny.
She's pre-fat.
Yeah, she's
So-
pre-fat, definitely. 13-year-olds are horny, but like, that's got to be fucking damaging to you if you're 13 and you have a 24-year-old with a huge power
It's
dynamic.
only
over you.
damaging if you don't get laid again until you're 21, right?
No,
Like, if
no.
you-
I know that's like the popular funny thing, but it is fucked up. It's an adult taking advantage of a child.
Can I just say this real quick?
Yeah.
She apparently, like, he hit her up on Instagram, and she was not responding. She was ignoring him, and then he wasn't showing up to class. So finally she messages him back, and she's like, what's going on, blah, blah. He somehow gets her number. She goes to his house to pick him up for school, is what the news article said.
That happened.
Somehow, in the 5 minutes between picking him up for
Bizarro school.
and dude, I have no idea, but somehow her picking him up turns into them having sex because his parents are gone. Like, I want to be there, not to be weird or creepy. I want to be there during that 5 minutes. Like, what made this situation go so awry that, like, it's like, I'm picking up this kid for school. Oh, we had sex.
I can hardly get that shit to happen with Jackie.
Well, who knows? Maybe it was like, oh, you ready for the quiz on states and capitals today? And he's like, fuck, I don't know how to spell Minneapolis. And she's like, that's fine, take your pants off. And then
I'm like, hey, honey, we got 5 minutes. You down right now? No. Oftentimes
I'm
not.
15, so we're gonna have about 4 minutes and 40 seconds to spare. Like,
This is shocking. You know, this woman's a rapist. You know, legally speaking, it
He's-
seems.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like there's
I
definitely a messed up line of things. Like, something's wrong with her, I would say. But I think that there's a huge difference between, like, if it was a 24-year-old man and a 13-year-old girl, I think the power dynamic is way, like, there's too much of an imbalance there, for sure. But I don't know. Something about, I feel like, I don't know, bro. If I was 13 banging a 24-year-old...
like maybe the 13-year-old girl really wants some dick.
Yeah,
I think everyone always discounts that no one ever says, like, well, hey, that 13-year-old boy, what does he want more than some pussy? Of course, he's a 13-year-old boy. No one ever says, well, she's a 13-year-old girl. She's cock thirsty. Come on, she's at that age.
Girls
I don't
develop
think it's
faster
about
than
the girl.
boys.
I think it's
well,
more
because
about the
nobody wants to
adult
think
man.
about girls like that. Because it's very un-PC to think that. But either way, I do understand what you're saying, PJ, where it's like, it's definitely a grosser feeling when it's like a 25-year-old guy and a 12, 13, 14-year-old girl. That makes you feel viscerally more like, oh, you piece of shit, like you knew what you were doing. But you give women this undue credence of, oh, she must have just, you know, it's so difficult for women to find cock these days, you know? She had to go trolling through her fucking pile of homework. Oh, Steve, you know, oh, I'm looking at the bulge in his Oshkosh Bagosh overalls and I'm loving it, you know? Like, no, that's fucking horseshit. You can't excuse these people. She's a rapist just as much as...
Dude, I don't know. I feel like I agree with you, but I also think that in a perfect world, yes. But
was
there's
your
double
kid?
standards with men.
How would you feel? How would you feel if your 13-year-old son brought home this lady, this 24-year-old lady, and you're like, oh, you went to like,
There we
did you
go.
go to a state school? Yeah, me and Jackie, we went to this school and that school. Yeah, oh yeah, you went to a state school too. Oh yeah, we went to the same college, me and you. That's cool. Well, this is Billy. He's hoping Little League's gonna go well this year. Yeah, and he's fucking you, I hear. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Dude, apparently the
They're
parents
having
were
like
okay
the meet the parents conversation on
parents
the
were okay with
conference night.
Yes. They went
Apparently
to
she was,
functions together. Like it was
Yeah.
they knew of it.
and he stayed at her house and stuff. This kid had it made, dude.
Got her
I know what
pregnant.
happened.
Wait, he got her pregnant?
She had an
Yeah.
abortion. Yeah, she already has one child.
That's her fault, though. She messed up there. Do not get
Yeah, you
pregnant.
can't be putting
Now
that
you're a rapist.
on a 13-year-old. Like
Now you're a
you
rapist.
got homework to remember. He can't be wrapping it up like
Come
13.
on. That's your job, 24-year-old lady.
That guy's gonna that poor 13-year-old's gonna be having that thought every night for the rest of his life when he's like 27, just sitting there doing his taxes and then being like, he'd be 14. And then like continuing like that's a damaging thing for a child. It is.
Shit.
That is. That's sincerely damaging. Like that's
Arc.
if that were my son, like it wouldn't. Like if it were my daughter, I'd be like it's inexcusable, like eyes red with fury. But if it's your son, it's more like we got to have a talk about this. Hash through this. Make sure you're not gonna, be capturing women on fucking street corners and cutting their faces off in 15 years. But,
That's such
Jack
a
the
big
Ripper,
leap.
some sort of sexual Dexter, because
Yeah,
your 24-year-old teacher fucked you crazy for like 9 months when you were 13 years old. I don't know. I feel like when I was 13, I'd have been down. I just know I would have been, and it would have been scarring because I feel like I've always kind of been me, and like I feel like I was pretty sexually mature at like 13 or 14. Like I knew what was up. I knew what I wanted. I remember in 5th grade, I wanted to squeeze Miss Harrison's big old titties. I really wanted to squeeze them. They were huge. I wanted to do stuff to them.
We all wanted to squeeze Miss Harrison's titties, Kyle. But what I'm saying is that, like, if Miss Harrison had actually come after class and been like, "Oh, Kyle, can you stay after?" and suddenly it was like a huge power dynamic where you're no longer this suave 13-year-old who just gets pussy whenever he wants. It's
No, I didn't doubt-
walked
I
in
didn't
and
doubt- I
demands you to lay down.
I'm telling you,
Oh,
I was so down. I would think about it all the time. Like I just wish that my teacher was a pedophile. I would think that. I was like, I wish she wanted to see what was in my pants. She doesn't care. God damn. Her boyfriend would come over. Like her boyfriend would come to school and they'd have lunch and I'm like,
He's completely not threatened by you.
This guy, he's got a car and a job. Like,
37-year-old Civil War buff over there, and I'm eating my fucking Rice Krispies. Like, what's he got that I don't have?
dude, it's so like non-threatening, and you're just sitting there with the best thoughts ever. That's the greatest thing. That's like,
Fucking ass.
Oh,
But,
man.
yeah, so it's. I definitely see the the hypocrisy of it when we're like, yeah, he scored, but there really is just a difference between men and women,
it's
and
double standards, dude.
there should be though.
There are like that's real. That's
is.
reality.
because
it's a
because
double standard, but it doesn't. The double standard doesn't have to be, one is good and okay, and one is
no, there's
really wrong. The double
Yeah.
standard, this one's fucked up, and we all understand the reason why this one's more fucked up, and this one's right here still fucked up, but
I'm just saying that you cannot. I'm not saying that a woman can't rape a young boy. I'm just saying that a hot woman can't rape a young boy.
that's
Yes, for sure. Definitely 100%. Kyle speaks truth.
It's just the truth. We all know it's true. Like we see those gross women, and they're like, "Oh, I bet she did some weird shit to him anyway. Like she was making him eat out of a dog bowl, probably fucking crazy." But you see this chick, and it's like, nah, this chick was
I
just
bet it's probably
Yeah.
the opposite. Some big sow who's fucking her student is kind of like, "Oh my god, I'm just so lonely and my cats can't fuck me," and she's getting banged by this kid. Some really hot chick that's been able to do whatever she wants with men her own age. She's gonna go in there like the Nutty Professor and have him doing whatever the hell she wants.
Maybe she takes
I'm
advantage
gonna
of
do
small-
some anal stuff. You don't know any better. This is what grown-ups do. Join in,
maybe
it's
she
just,
takes advantage of his small physique in some way.
It's just that you look at an attractive woman and you think the best intentions, but if she's fucking a 13-year-old, she's clearly a piece of shit.
Something's
clear.
wrong with her for sure. Like
She's a
something's
pedophile though. That just the
Yeah.
act of having sex with the child is enough, right? Like she doesn't have to get all crazy with it, does she? Like I feel like she's just like, yeah, he's 13, this is awesome, and on the other end, he's like, yeah, she's 24, this is awesome. I
We
feel like-
also don't know what he looks like, right?
I don't. It's the same kid actually. It's the same guy in that first picture.
No, it's not.
He's a 8th grader.
Dude, what if he's like one of those built 13-year-olds that's just ridiculous? I don't know.
When
He
I
looks like
this
I
kid,
don't know.